Hello, my name is Luis Eduardo González Granados, and the first issue we cover in the future are airplanes. In my life, in which I'm traveling constantly in a plane, and with there is always a lot difference constantly in the capacity of airplanes or in comfort. They can of the example that they showed in imagine a difference and types of aircraft and some difference. The biggest is the Boeing 787 Dreamliner, which in the world makes transatlantic fighters in the altitude to being able to transport more than 800 people.
Self-destruct is what we do when we're together, me and you. We're so in love, but out of touch with all the damage we could do. What we had is beautiful.
How would you imagine that will be drugs weight after years? Mercedes-Benz asked the question a few months ago, and now just one ideas have been brought into reality. The company has enabled international exhibit of commercial vehicles EAA that will held in Hanover from 22 to 29 of September. The future in the trucks and the 100% electric to Mercedes-Benz Urban and the trucks in the prototype which enabled in the end last month of July. And now this one bill officially assuming allowed we have waiting 222 to sell in the market the vehicle and 3 excellent in a total weighing 26 tons and products and zero emissions and equate in the terms below and equal to truck with combustible energy and the power in the two energy and 100% electric to 2 year and 339 and horsepower.
You know we couldn't keep this out and break it off for a million reasons to bring it back to life was beyond our reach.
A rickshaw with the human traction or rickshaw. In a model is the transportation with human power in which a person pulls a car with two wheels with capacity for the one or two people. In the recent times, in the using rickshaw and human power, it has been discouraged in the province in many countries due to concern for the welfare and the working in the cheap rickshaw. These have been replaced in many cycling and rickshaw and the auto rickshaw. In believing in the rickshaw was invented in Japan in 1860. In behind in periodic technical in the progress in the 19th century. Rickshaw is powered by human in the transport and the off-model in the cheap transport and the popular in this various countries of Asia. The person in the migrant in a large and Asian city, often working in it initially and running rich cow. According to some notes in the commenters to drug rig India in the most deadly and occasionally est the most degrading for human beings. The popularity in the rickshaw in the Japan in the decade 1930, the arrival in transport system based engines such automobiles and trains and China. The popularity of the vehicle began and declined in the 1090 while in the Singapore its popularity increased during the 20th century. There were is in approximately rickshaw is the 1820 and that number doubled in the years 1830. Bicycle manager, also known is bike and cycle and couriers and the people work for courier companies, also in messenger company, carrying and living in times bicycle in messenger. The bicycle are more often in the central Boston districts and the metropolitan areas. Companies use bike messenger because vehicle and trip on lesson subject and roughing with municipal traffic arms and the city. And deter in the limits of parking, fear of fines in the high density and deployment and the cane hiking and prevent in the need in the motor vehicle, which often in the late time in the predicting almost immediately after the flow and the display in dropped and a full pedal in the 1060 flow in began to use live and proposed in the late they see the book held 2004 and the child in history and the bicycle contains several references to the messengers on the bike, which worked during the 19th century, including the destruction and the contract in the player the Paris Stock Exchange in the 1870 during the bomb of the bicycle in the 1090. In the United States, Western Union employed the number of the guide for telegraph bicycle in the city of New York and San Francisco and the other large center of the popularity. One of the first company missionary vehicle American in the post-war period and the found the Carl's Park in San Francisco 11945 according to the association and the messenger cycling and the San Francisco and the spark went to the cow are which and above on out in 1998 and later Arbisco in the city spread and to end to the date of the 1960 well and established and reprised in the office service Michelin bike and many major cities and the United States. The sports or sports include and the forms physical activity and competitive or games. Through in occasionality participation organizing aim to use. Maintain our impressive physical ability and skills while providing entertainment and participants and in some cases entertain and spectators. Here are hundreds and sports from choose between electricals, individual event shows with hundreds and participants simultaneously, heading in the teams are competing in the individual and certain sports switch and racing many and constant and competitive simultaneously or constantly with winner and the others in the constant game. Between two sides, age 3 and cover game order in some sports allow for drawn game, others private methods and disposability and ensure and the winner logs a number of contests with the arranging and tournament and the pros in champion. Many sport launch to make a champion 1 year to organize games and sports season regularly and follow and in some cases and play tournaments. The sport is generally in frequency and shifting activity and the base academic and athletic and physical training with games and great competition and more late the Olympic Games which support only sports completely which and the other organization switch as a council and European in the using definition precluding activities without the physical element for classification as sports. However, in the number in the competitive activity with no physical demanding recognition in the as a sport and the mean the International Olympic Committee. Reorganization both cheese and the break and the sports good faith and the sport accord in association in the International Federation and sport recognition 5 sport no physical breed cheese routes checkers gold and the Shigan and the limit in the number to maintain games that begin with admin and sports. It's a red hot science week in here series science. As we learn, we will be featuring science is the focus on the color red. Red is particularly important color in the human psychology. Both women and men are attracted in the women might ever use the color to signal to fertility. And a study performed during the 2000 Olympics. The research tested and wearing the color might also affect sport performance. In the 2004 Olympic Games, constantly for combat sport boxing Mendo, Greco-Roman wrestling in the first league wrestling were roundly a single thread or blue outfits or body protection. We found that the full competition there is a constant in the stability significant pattern in which constant where red win more fights. A more recent student in 4 times effect might and the duo the difference and the testosterone levels between competitors wearing red and the two wearing other colors. Some teams indicate in the mix the next time your shots and teams the flow, football and the bearing and the which team winning the Super Bowl and red coloration and the sexuality and select testosterone depend signal of male and equality and the variety of animals and some non-human especially in the male domination and the experimentation in the be attraction artificially and red stimuli. Here we show and similar effects can influence the outcome of physical and conscience in the humans across the range of sports. We find in the wearing red in its constantly associated in the with higher probability in the winner this. Results indicate to only sexual selection may to influence to the evolution and the human responsibility two colors, but also that the color sportswear needs are taken into account to ensure level playing a field in sports. Historically, women have long participated in the rodeo. Annie Auckland created the major gear in the last and the century and the 1908 and 10 years old gear was dubbed and the first wheel after demonstration and the roping skill in Madison Square Garden. Women were celebrated in each competition in the frog and the bull and the riding events in the early decades and the 20th century until finally from right here in the 1929 rodeo in the Dale 12 riding operations and the famed competition in rodeo. Their participation was severely quarantined thereafter in the 20th century. Women learned in the rope and the ride in the American frontier, pushing west with cowboy gear. As a profession, the primarily in the job of men and the paying jobs in the field were essentially and existing to both women. Women were the hair and mounted in a pistol shoulder and then a trick and stunts horsewoman in the Wild West show on the late in the century. In 1885, Annie Auckland was heard the Buffalo Bill Cody and the Shears Shoulder in the Wild West show. But later helping in the creating the income and the imagine the gold wheel and the she appeared where Western Phillips showed with Thomas Alva Edison, win 1894 and 1893. Women began and competing and the Cheyenne front days, though they and was never and the legend never and the famed professional right rodeo promoters and advertised in the family rights in the Swedish words and the queens of the rodeo. The term conquer was first used in the context of the Wild West show and the Auckland men, Lucy Gill and the Moose Hall in the 1008 when an age and 10 years and displaying and the roping skill on the Madison Square Garden. Brady Reed rose in the heaven of the Bronco, losing my will stick, looking at the horse champion Bertha Flecke, and the other years achieved celebrating performance in the rodeos of the early 20th century. Women competing in the first indoor rodeo, Fort Worth, Texas, Coliseum, and the 1918. Way to save. Do not act like the victim. The perfect victim to the predator are the people who estimate weak, unobserved, willing, and compromise with him himself do the right thing. It is even easy to take advantage of such a person and they are alone in isolation and place intoxic. A confident make appropriate eye contact with other people in the surprise and while with purpose. We put it in the help for it don't compromise yourself sometimes predators. We try to lure people and the properly to team your help. For instance, If someone on a car asks you direction, by all means help them. From a safe distance, do not come a car window. Be aware that the summary things you do need obsession, vigilant, and the little details, or you go into paranoid fantasies behind will keep you from accidents to show potential criminals that they are paying attention. Avoid constantly taking on your phone. Are you otherwise allow device to you make obvious to your electronics don't have any ports blasting music. Pay attention to the people who are around you. If you are drunk and you're yelling obscenities darling on the street, you can notice him or her and avoid trouble. Avoid walking in the unit areas with little foot traffic, such as lanes of parks. While unfortunately things in you happen even in the wheels and areas someone can you touch you much more facility darkened area and will be much harder to you help you solve a need. Seek to well-lit traffic road and the paths for walking, then more people around to build. Attack question is grammatical structure in the which the clarity or imperative statement and the turning interrogative fragment. The attack, for example, in the sentences you're wrong, aren't you? Are stamping, you're going, is turning into a question beta, aren't you? The term question tag is generally preferring the British grammatics. Really, the American competence preference tag question. In most languages, tag questions are more common in colonial spoken usage than a formal written. They can be an indicator of politeness, hard-thinking, conflict, seeking imperatives, and or irony. They may be used confidentially and lack a confidentially. They may be confirmed, defensive or tentative, although they have the grammatic form of a question. They may be rhetorical, not expecting an answer. In other cases, we do expect a responsibility. They may be different from the trigon form question in time. They, you are listening and to weigh responsibility in desiring in legal sentence. That question have often been found a lending question according to especially children, alien and the NSCPCC. Children find it difficult to answer that question out of time in accordance with the expression and the questioner using to tagging a question. When you start your own company and become your own boss, you think life is good, when in actuality is start making money and growing your business, you think life is great. But when sitting and sit one day of the airborne plane is completely silent because the engines have been shut down, and hear the pilot say, "Brace the impact," known as unruly matters, as the says its first round of Fly 1549, just moments before it crashed in the Hudson River Thursday in January 2009. The thing that this had once said me is so important to local matter is didn't have to talk in the flight and it anymore. It could see a very district lock in the her eyes and I was locked in the terror. And it was the going to day I was to try on American in the day didn't and that day was also an experience that changed and the forever in the game and the tremendous operations for life and the immense amount integrated for the pilots Chelsea, Sullenberg and the people who were sitting next to me. I took my lesson in the first flight 3 and in particular that it will escape the rest of my life. In the learning to everything changed in my instant when you have there is booking and the list of things we have to do in the life. And it said it's like in the about in the people is wonder and you are stick in the didn't and the things in wanting to meet and they want to experience in the wanting to happen never did. So can you within never saying to myself I am called by its win because he is win and ready and the person is there in my open it. In the longer one is sporting anything in your life and your urines in the purpose and to change me and the husband and the father and the business owner. In naval terminology, and the destroyer and the fast maneuverably along in the reservoir ship. Entering the escort in the largest person in the fleet convoy in the battle group and defense to against this matter powerful shot rank attack. They were originally developed and the 119th century and defense against torpedo pits and the China, Russia, Japan's were in the 1040s torpedo boat and destroyed TBDC. Where largely with and the power fury and the might torpedo winners and the single destroying and the torpedo boats and the allow in the term destroying and Caribbean using a cherubim and the TBT and torpedo boat destroyer and the Navy's in Science 1092 when term torpedo boat destroyed Harbin, General G on the short in the sample destroying Guarnali and the Navy's in the First World War. Before World War II and destroying were lies in the business the little understanding and European ocean operational typically numbers of destroying and single destroying defender operated together after the war in the Apache and gassing missile allowing and destroying and attacking and surprise combatant roles and previously in a fancy warship and the crushing that will result in the lion and the more powerful and guide and the missile destroying more capable in this independent operation. At the start of the 21st and century, destroying the global standard and the surface combat ship and the one of only two nations and the United States and Russia operating in the heavy class and the cruising in the battleships and the battle crushing and remaining the modern wine in the missile and destroying the equivalent anti-aircraft with basing the super fighting power and the cruising in the World War II wearing a couple and carrying a nuclear shipping and the cruising missile and the 116 meters long and its capacity and 29,200 tons and the weight armament and the more 119 missiles and the gear missile destroying and the American bottle and the class and the actuality and largely in the more heavy and the in the most province in the classification the Yale missile and the crossing. Some of the European navies in the search and the French, Spanish, and German in the term frigates and the tail destroying which led the Tanzan confusion. Mark Bezos in a degree and this on the public relation and the work in several chains. First in the account manager and the fifth vice president and 1999 we confounded our company and several years later sold the business and the nose worst and the Robin Hood and the playing fighting keratis in the New York City and senior vice president and the flower and the communication and events and 2022 and the because involuntary capital and scaling the voluntary in the fire company which is their country with a life and the wife and the four children fighting and voluntary fighting in the hiding and respect and the help on the USA.